Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters. I'm your host Mitch, glad to have you here. Here at the Commander's Quarters, we're all about Commander on a budget. Today we've got an episode of Break the Bank. On episodes like this, we're going to take one of our Commander's Quarters decks and up the budget to $100. Sometimes you just love a deck so much that you're willing to put a little more into it to get those upgrades. And these same rules are going to apply for our overall deck cost. So shipping will be included in the price, commanders at $10 or less are going to be included, and basic lands will not be included. Decks on this channel are built to be fun, inexpensive, and focused. If you want to learn more about what a focused commander deck is, check out this video here. On this deck tech, I'm going to take you through its strategy, the tactics, and how this deck wins. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. And while you're at it, subscribe and review our podcast as well. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCGplayer affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support. Today's Break the Bank comes to you courtesy of Dakota, a Golden Pig tier patron. Dakota's been supporting this channel for over a year now. I truly couldn't do this without amazing patrons like Dakota. So today we're going to break the bank on Dakota's deck tech on Bruna the Fading Light. If you haven't seen that episode yet, I highly recommend checking it out first. But if you've already seen it, then let's get into it. So let's get things started off with what's in. With this upgraded budget, what things are we bringing into the deck? First up, let's upgrade this deck by adding in Endless Horizons. When it comes into play, we can search our library for any number of planes cards and remove them from the game, then we shuffle our library. At the beginning of our upkeep, we can put one of those planes into our hand. Essentially, this just takes out the vast majority of lands in our deck. That means that it's going to be much more difficult for us to run into any dead draws. And on top of that, we basically just get a planes into our hand each turn. So this is kind of like deck thinning and card advantage. Next up, let's add an Unwinding Clock, which says untap all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step. With this deck, we've got plenty of artifacts with activated abilities, and this lets us use them multiple times each turn. On every single turn cycle, we're going to get a lot more value out of all of our artifacts. And one of those new artifacts is Keening Stone. By paying 5 and tapping it, target player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard, where X is the number of cards in that player's graveyard. This allows us to mill ourselves for a ton every single time we activate it. It essentially doubles how much we mill every single time. The more that we mill, the better chance we have of hitting Gisela, which is again what this deck is designed to do. But next up, let's add a Mystic Forge, which says you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an artifact card or a colorless non-land card. And we can tap it and pay 1 life to exile the top card of our library. So this provides an absurd amount of card advantage for this deck. We're running an incredible amount of artifacts, so we can just keep casting them off the top of our library. On top of that, we can actually exile the top card if we need to. And it gives us information on what we might be milling off the top. But then let's also add Darksteel Plate, which is an equipment that is indestructible and gives equipped creature indestructible. Protecting Bruna once we have her is huge, and this equipment is amazing at doing that. Another great piece of equipment to add into the deck is O Naginata. It can only be attached to a creature with power 3 or more, and it gives the equipped creature +3/+0 in trample. Giving Bruna 12 power in trample is huge. This pretty much turns her into a 2-shot kill. Next up, let's upgrade this deck by adding in Cleansing Nova. It says choose 1, destroy all creatures, or destroy all artifacts and enchantments. This is a very flexible board wipe and just a strict upgrade compared to some of our other ones. With this upgraded budget though, let's also upgrade the land, starting with Isolated Watchtower. We can tap our colors, we can pay 2 and tap to scry 1, and then we can reveal the top card of our library. If a basic land card is revealed this way, we can put it onto the battlefield tapped, but we activate this ability only if an opponent controls at least 2 more lands than us. In a mono white deck running a lot of planes, this can be huge. Next up, there's Skyreach Sanitarium, which can tap our colors, we can pay 2 and tap to loot. Card selection in mono white from land is just good. But we can also get some card advantage too with something like Arch of Araska. If we have the City's Blessing, we can pay 5 and tap it to draw a card. Next up, let's add an Emergent Zone, which we can tap for our colors, we can pay 1 and tap and sacrifice it to cast spells as though they had flash. This can help us really set ourselves up on an opponent's turn when we need to. And finally, let's add in Labyrinth of Scophos, which has pay 4 and tap it to remove target attacking or blocking creature from combat. Protecting ourselves while we're setting things up in this deck is huge. But since we're adding some cards in, we've got to take some out. First up, let's take out some of our artifacts with Worry Beads, Whetstone, and Thran Tome. We're just adding in more effective ways at milling ourselves and providing card advantage as well. So we're also going to be taking out Tamiel's Journal, which can just be a bit too slow at some times. And with the great equipment that we added in, let's also take out Forebear's Blade and Gate Smasher. These aren't bad cards, but the upgrades are definitely better than these. And next up, let's take out Winds of Wrath, which again is just a strictly worse Wrath than the one that we're adding in. Cleansing Nova costs the exact same amount, and it's more flexible. And by adding some lands in, of course we've got to take some out, so let's take out 5 planes. And now that we've gone through every single card in this deck, let's do a quick price check. A quick reminder that our deck costs are calculated using TCGplayer optimization, optimizing with even heavily played and damaged cards because those cards need a home too. The average Bruna the Fading Light EDH Rec deck is going to set you back $331.17. Even with all of our upgrades, our deck is still going to be much more affordable, coming in at $99.96. Again, the price of this deck is the price that I got for it on the day that I'm recording. If you want to see a breakdown of this deck's cost, check out the link in the description. Keep in mind that prices can and will fluctuate and change over time. But with these deck costs, I want to be as transparent as I possibly can. And now it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what you think about this deck and what you think about the commander in general. And make sure you're following us on social media for more updates and sneak peeks on future episodes. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons who help make this show possible. I truly couldn't do any of this without your support. If you want to support this channel directly, consider becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, including being able to vote on future commanders for deck techs. There are even tiers where you get your own personalized deck tech dedicated to you. You can check out all the Patreon tiers and rewards at patreon.com/commandersquarters. If you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Here at the Commander's Quarters, we're all about budget commander. So while you're at it, go ahead and check out some of our other types of episodes. And with that, I'm out of here. Thanks again and have a good one.